Hi soulmates, you're all welcome back to the channel. In today's tutorial, I'm going to be showing you the making process of this beautiful A-line dress with a cowl neck and a snatched waist. So let's dive right in. I'll be making use of these 3 yards of Duchess fabric to achieve this style. I'll start by showing you how I went about the folding. The length of this fabric is 60 inches, but I'm going to be needing more than 60 inches for the length because of the method I used in achieving the cowl neckline. So now instead of folding it along the yardage, where we measure the 3 inches, instead of folding it like that, I'm going to go ahead and fold it this way so that at the end of my folds, right, the yardage, that's the selvage, is going to be at the side, just like you're seeing. Okay, instead of it to be at the up part, which is the normal way we usually fold, you're going to turn it like this so that we can achieve a longer length. All right, so I'm folding for the front and the back. Okay, because I'm going to be cutting the front and the back together. So I went ahead to fold it into 2 first, and then I folded it again. So I have a fold of 4 right here. I'll use my pins to hold it down. The fabric is quite light, so you need to keep it in place, secure it so it stays in place. I've gone ahead to mark my start line. Above my start line, which is also my shoulder line, I have excess fabric at the top. Okay, you can leave up to like 9 to 6 inches above that start line. So I'll go ahead and take the length of my blouse, of my dress, sorry, which is 60 inches. Okay, I'm making use of 60 inches, and then I'll go ahead to add 2 inches for my hemming allowance. Okay, I'll go on and connect the lines right there, and then I'm going to cut it out. If you're yet to subscribe, please click on the red button to subscribe to my channel. Give us a thumbs up as well. While my tape is on the shoulder line, I'll go on and mark my vertical body measurement. Okay, I'm taking my waist point, which is 17 inches, and then I'll also mark my hip point of 26 inches. Okay, I'm going to rule a straight line across this point. You can see the excess fabric I have above my shoulder line, so take note of that. Alright, so I'll go ahead and divide my shoulder measurement of 15 inches into 2, which is 7.5, plus ½ inch for sewing allowance. Then I'll take my neck width of 3.5 inches and neck depth of 1.5 inches. Alright, so I'm cutting the back neckline first. Okay, so this is the back neckline we are cutting right here. Now at the shoulder point, I'm going to come down by 1 inch, and I'll rule a line connecting to it, which will serve as our shoulder slant. Okay, then I took my armhole depth of 8 inches. Divide your bust measurement by 6 plus 1.5 to get your armhole depth. To get my armhole curve, I'm going to get the midpoint of my armhole depth, which is 4 inches. At that 4 inches point, I went in by ½ inch. Then I'll go ahead and mark my round bust measurement, divide it by 4, and I marked what I have right there, and I connected from the shoulder point to the ½ inch, then to my round bust measurement to get my armhole curve. Now I'll go ahead and add about 3 inches, okay, allowance. You can use from 2 inches to 3 inches, okay, depends on how free you want it to be. So I'll go ahead and mark my knee point. I forgot to do that earlier. My knee point is 34 inches. I marked it right there. I'll go on and take my round waist measurement, divide that by 4. I marked it, and I also added my sewing allowance and ease allowance of 3 inches. I did same thing at my hip point. Divide your round hip measurement by 4 and add your allowance. Now at the knee point, I removed 1.5 inches from my round hip measurement to get my round knee measurement. Okay, then at the hem of my dress I have about 18 inches. So I'm going to be connecting these points together. If you have watched this video to this point, please do hit on the red button to subscribe, like the video so it can get to a wider audience, and if you have any question, please do leave it in the comment section. Okay, and also share our videos. I added sewing allowance of 1/2 inch at the shoulder. And then I got this transparent paper. This is a gum stay. The medium gum stay is quite transparent. Then I went on to trace out the lines on my dress. Okay, just the upper part, stopping at the chest line. Okay, I just traced it out, and then I went ahead to cut the neckline and the shoulder and also along the armhole. All right, and I trimmed out any excess that I have there. So I'll also use my pins to secure it so I keep it in place along that armhole right there. After securing it with my pin at that point, I'll go on and move the paper like this. Just watch carefully how I'm going about this. At this point, what I'm trying to do is to get the neckline for my front. So I'm creating the cowl effect now for the front part of my dress. I moved it and I marked 6.5. Okay, you can use 8 inches, 9 inches, depend on how deep you want it to be. But I don't want my bust to be exposed, so I'm going to use 6.5. Then I used my pin to hold it down at that point and also at the upper parts, all right, so it doesn't move around. So now to get the neck width for the front, I'll go ahead and position my ruler this way, and I'm going to mark a straight line connecting it all the way down, just like this. Okay, you can see how the line is passing through the neck width for the front, neckline for the front. So just like that. Okay, I'll go on and trace out the rest parts of the paper. Okay, I'll trace it out like this all through to the armhole. So just watch carefully how I'm going about this at this point. It's a very simple process. After I'm done tracing it out, right, I'll go on and remove my pins and take off the paper. Make sure the lines are clear enough. Then you remove your pins and take out the paper. So this is what I have. So you can see I have the neckline for the back and I have for the front as well. So now I'll go on and cut it out. Make sure you cut out that of the front first. Okay, I'll cut out that of the front first. When I'm done cutting the front part of the dress, then I'll remove one part of it and then I'll recut the other one for the back. So I'm done cutting it. I'll go on and remove one of the piece. Okay, one of it to serve as that for the front. Then the other one, I'm going to plate it right back, arrange it, and then I'll recut it for the back. So I'm going to trace out the back neckline and the armhole. So this is what I have. for the back, and this is for the front. The next thing is to cut out facing for both the front and the back neckline. So this for the back, I went ahead to fold a piece of paper and I placed my front pattern, the front part of my dress, on it this way. All right, make sure you have like up to 4 inches at the down part, and at the upper part I marked 3.5 inches there. I'll trace out the neckline, the shoulder, and then I'll remove it and cut it like this from that 4 inches point I came down by. So this is the facing for the back. We'll be placing the right face facing each other. I'll use 1/2 inch to sew it. Then for the front, you can see I went ahead to add another fabric because I didn't have enough. Okay, I want the front to be long up to like 16 inches. Let it get to the armhole area. Okay, like at the armhole area, let it come down like 4 to 3 inches. Let's say 3 inches from the armhole area. All right, I hope you understand what I'm trying to explain. So this is me placing the front on the facing. And at this point, after attaching extra fabric, I have enough. Okay, so I'm going to measure down. So I have like 3 inches from my armhole down. I have 3 inches. And when I place my tape at the top and I measure down, I have about 16 inches in total. So the total length of my front facing is 16 inches. I'll go on and trim it out like this, just following what I have to cut out the facing. So I have my front facing, the facing for the front part of my dress. I'll go on and place it like this, right face facing each other. I'll use 1/2 inch to sew it at the neckline. Notch before turning. I'm done sewing. So you see how I notched it and I turned it over. I gave it a good press. Okay, so you see what I have at the right face. So this is the back. I did same thing with the back part. Okay, I notched and then turned it and gave it a good press. So now I'm going to be attaching the front part of my dress, my cowl dress, and the back parts together at the shoulder. All right, I'm going to pick a piece from the back and I'll wrap it all the way to the front, and I'll use 1/2 inch to sew it down. I'll do same thing with the other part of the shoulder as well. I also went ahead to cut out this long strip. Is 1.5 inches in width. I'm going to go over to my sewing machine. I'll be folding it this way, and before sewing, all right, this is what I'll be using to create the loops at the back. This one is going to give us that snatched effect at the back after lacing it up. Okay, so I'll be sewing it like this. Fold both sides and then you fold it again this way. After joining the shoulder, this is what I have. This is what the shoulder is looking like. And you can see the cowl effect at the front. Okay, and this is what the front is looking like at the inside. After sewing the strip, I went ahead to cut it into 8 pieces. I'll be using 4 at each side of my dress. Okay, you can use 2 at each side or 3 at each side. It's just based on your preference. Okay, you're still going to get that snatched effect after lacing it up. Okay, so now next is to sew the front and the back part of my dress together. I'll be using 1.5 inches to sew it. All right, from the top all the way down, I'm going to mark 1.5 and I'll take it over to my sewing machine and I'll sew it all down. Before sewing, I'm going to be attaching my loops. Okay, so at the waist point, I went up by 2 inches. Okay, so this is the waist point. I went up by 2 inches. So that's one place where I'll be attaching my loop, and then another 2 inches, which is the exact waist point. Then from that waist point, I came down by 2 inches again and by 2 inches again. So I have marked 2 inches in 4 places. So this is the loop. I'm going to cross it over each other like this, and look at the way I'm inserting it in this way. Okay, making sure the folded part is going inward while the rough edge is facing the outer part. Okay, so just watch, fold it like this and then insert it this way. All right, let the folded part go in like this. Use your pin to secure it before taking it over to the sewing machine. Secure it with your pin. So this is what I'll be doing for the remaining 2, and then also 4 at the other side of my dress. I'm done attaching, and this is what I have. You can see the rough edges right there. When I turn it to the right face, so this is what my cowl dress, my cowl neckline is looking like. This is what the dress is looking like, and the loops is what we are going to use to snatch our waist. Now I'm going to be cutting out the sleeve. I went ahead to fold this piece into 2. The down part, I have about 14 inches. It depends on how wide you really want your sleeve to be. And also the length of mine is around 17 inches. It's not to my wrist length. So if you want yours to be around your wrist length, just use your body measurement. So I'm going to be marking the length right there. My sleeve length is 17 inches. Okay, I'll roll a line. And the width of this folded piece is 14 inches. So I'm going to take my sleeve cap. From the top, I came down by 4 inches. I'll roll a straight line, and then go ahead and take your dress and measure your armhole. Just measure from the shoulder to the depth of your armhole. Don't follow the curve, just bring it to the depth. I have 8 inches right there. So that 8 inches, I'm going to be marking it in a slanted form like this. I'll place it 8 inches. All right, so I'm going to get the midpoint of this 8 inches, which is 4. The midpoint is 4. All right, and at that point, I'll go up by ½ an inch and come down by ½ inch. So I'm going to be creating my curve like this, connecting it to the ½ inch, and then I'll curve it from the down ½ inch. This is the front part of our sleeve. You know, the front back part is different from the back. Then for the back, this is how I'm going to mark it. So you can see now. So I'm going to add my sewing allowance of 1.5 inches, and then go on and take your elbow. Okay, if you want it to just be free all the way down, you can just mark it like this. Okay, but if you want to give it a shape, mark your elbow measurement. Mine is 12, and at that elbow point, just take your measurement. I have 12 right there, and then just mark what you have around your elbow, add some allowance, and mark it. So after I'm done joining my sleeve, I'm going to be attaching it to my dress like this. I'll join it at the down part like this first. I'll use my pin to secure it. Then I'll also secure it at the shoulder. Turn it like this inward. Look how I'm going about it. Join them together like this, secure it, and then I'll go over to my sewing machine and I'm going to sew it all around. Then this is also the rope that I'll be using to lace up. It's about 75 inches in length. I'll go on and fold the hem of my dress using my 2 inches allowance. After I'm done, this is what I have. All right, this is what my cowl A-line dress with a cowl neckline and a snatched waist is looking like. So to achieve that snatched waist, after wearing your dress, go on and lace it up like this. All right, you see how I'm going about it. Lace it up like this. Okay, lace it all the way down, and then you're going to pull it to give you that snatched effect. All right, thank you guys for staying tuned to this point. So this is what the front part of the dress, our cowled A-line dress with a snatched waist, is looking like. Do not forget to subscribe, like, and comment. See you all in my next video. Bye.